It's been a fairly busy week this week in the Matilda household. Fiona said to me at the beginning of last month, you do know that you have 3 events on the vents, one after the other. And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's fine. Oh my gosh, am I tired? And today I went for my first decent walk since I had my surgery. So Seamus and I went for a 45-minute walk. It's the first time I've been able to walk him. I have no stitches. I am better. And this afternoon, I had planned to come in here and record. And I fell asleep. I just couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. I'm supposed to be writing this month. We are on the 3rd. Done nothing. I've written a script for this today, and that's about it. So I know that many of you are tuning in for me to talk about what is going on in the Middle East, and I will touch on that a little bit later. I do want to talk a little bit in depth about what I've seen around that, the lead up to it. And for those of you who are on my social media, and for those of you that have attended Patreon events, especially one with Laurie Rivers and I, this was predicted a year ago. Before it was a twinkle, well, obviously it was a twinkle long before in Trump's eye because he is evil, but before it was public knowledge. And I have taken some stick on social media this week. There are times I really love social media for what it does. I have seen communities come together. I have seen the love that can be shared, and I have seen people learn so much. And then there's the cunts, okay? The ones that go, oh, this was recorded. One person said you recorded this clip after it came out. Okay. I love it when I get sent a challenge because, the universe hears everything we say. And I spent 24 hours going, can people on social media get any stupider? Okay. I honestly said that. And then the universe delivered. And I had somebody say, you recorded this before, you recorded this after the event. I'm like, are you really that stupid that this is a podcast episode that's stamped, dated, and uploaded onto Spotify and Apple and all of those places? So, yeah, the universe will deliver. When you ask for something and ask if people can get stupider, they send you someone stupider. But that is by the by. I will talk in depth about that. But first of all, I'm going to talk about when spirit stops whispering, because I do think it's relevant today. We will end, as with all my episodes, with a centering meditation to help you through these difficult times. But I'm going to talk about signs from spirit, as in when you're not paying attention to what you should be doing and if you're not on your life path, etc. I'm going to do my Patreon shout outs, and then I'm going to talk about the Middle East, what I see happening, and why the US is where it is today, because it is relevant to today's episode. And then we'll do my normal predictions and my meditation at the end. So stay tuned, because this is an episode that can help a lot of people. I know that my topics aren't for everyone, but the ones you need will find you. Remember that. Spirit always speak in different ways. They start with a tickle, the push, and then the bang. It's always we always ignore the tickle, and it ends with a bang. And I think that a lot of people don't quite realize how much spirit are trying to speak to you. Today, we are going to go deeper. I want to talk about how spirit wakes us up, personally and collectively, and what happens when we ignore the early signs. Because spirit does not begin with chaos. It begins with kindness. It begins with a whisper. Over the years, through thousands of readings and watching people rebuild their lives after what they thought were disasters, I've noticed a pattern. It is almost predictable. First comes the tickle, then comes the push, and eventually, if we still do not listen, the bang. And understanding this pattern changes everything. Spirit does not override free will. It does not force. It does not punish. It does not manipulate outcomes. Spirit communicates, which means you are always allowed to ignore what you feel. And most people do, not because they are disconnected, but because staying comfortable feels safer than changing direction. So guidance begins gently. A quiet thought, a restless feeling, a sense that something no longer fits, even if it looks fine on paper. That is the tickle. The tickle is subtle. It looks like outgrowing conversations you once enjoyed, feeling flat in a career that once excited you, questioning dynamics you previously accepted, feeling pulled towards something new without logic, repeated themes appearing in your life. Nothing is broken yet, but something inside you knows you are not aligned. Most people will dismiss this time. They say I'm just tired. It's a phase. I shouldn't disrupt my life. And spirit waits. But energy that is ready to move will not stay quiet forever. The push is when the pressure starts to build. When the tickle is ignored long enough, pressure begins. This is where discomfort increases. You might notice increased anxiety, emotional sensitivity, tension in relationships, dissatisfaction that won't go away, and doors closing unexpectedly. The push is not punishment. It is course correction. Life narrowing your options so you can see clearly what you have been avoiding. This is still loving. This is still gentle compared to what can come next. The bang is always the interruption. It is the moment momentum stops. It may look like sudden endings, health scares, career collapses, public exposure, emotional breakdown, forced relocation, systems failing. And people often ask, why would Spirit let this happen? Because Spirit didn't create it. But when alignment is ignored for too long, life reorganizes. The bang is not destruction. It is awakening through contrast. And almost everyone, years later, will say, that was the moment everything changed for the better. Not because it was comfortable, but because it was honest. This can happen with the collective too. The United States is going through this. Let's widen the lens. This pattern is not just personal, it is collective. And when we look at what is happening globally, particularly in the United States, we see the same energetic stages. This is not about political sides, and this is not about party allegiance. This is about collective awareness. For years, there were tickles, warnings about division, warnings about civic disengagement, warnings about apathy, and warnings about corruption being tolerated, warnings about power structures being left unchecked. But many people assumed systems would hold, that someone else would fix it. That participation did not matter. That was the tickle stage. Then came the push. Polarization intensified. Trusts eroded. Institutions became questioned. Voices became louder. Conversations became more aggressive. Discomfort increased. Still, many chose sides instead of awareness. And now many would say that the United States feels like it is in the bang stage. Disruption, shock, rapid instability. Systems are straining. People are anxious. Communities are divided more than ever. This is not collapse. This is awakening through contrast. When collective responsibility is ignored long enough, disruption forces attention. Just like in your personal life. Ignored intuition becomes crisis. Avoided responsibility becomes interruption. The bang is not the end of the country. It is the end of complacency. And what follows awareness is choice. There is a lesson in all of this. The collective mirrors the personal. Where in your life have you felt the tickle? Where are you currently in the push? And are you wanting for a bang to make a decision? And are you waiting for a bang to make a decision you already know needs making? Spirit always gives warnings. Always. The question is not whether you are being guided. The question is whether you are listening early enough that life does not need to shout. I'm going to do my Patreon shout-outs before I jump into current affairs and what is going on and what I see to be going on. I've had quite a bit of an uptake on my Patreon, so thank you very much for that. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to read out some of our March events that are happening on Patreon. Tomorrow at some point, I'm going live. I think it's 12 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Times. This will be out before that. Coffee morning this weekend, your opportunity to ask your current affair or spiritual questions. The middle of the month, we have Are You Listening? That course is all about Are You Listening to Your Guides? Helping you listen to your guides and pay more attention. On the 21st, we have the Magnificent Manifestors live. On the 16th, I think there's 3 or 4 more spaces left for the Intimate Mediumship group. That is happening on the 16th, which is the 15th in the US. We've got other live chats. I'm waiting to hear from my lady that does my newsletter. I haven't heard, so I'm going to have to chase her up. And we have our Patreon-only Q&A podcast at the end of the month. This month, I am not doing one-on-one readings unless you are a member of my Embody mentorship, purely because I'm supposed to be writing. I did say that. As I said, I've written nothing so far. So I am going to read out my Patreon new members. Thank you, guys. Without you, there is no podcast. without you, there is no me. You make it possible for me to do, to teach, to offer the discounts that I do on my readings and on my groups and on my workshops. Patreon is such an amazing place to be. We have built an amazing community. I got a book sent to me by one of my Patreons, Glenn. Oh my gosh, it's just amazing. So that is also, I have linked that, and I think I will link it in the show notes as well. It's The Art of Decision Making, and he wrote a beautiful dedication to myself, Laurie, Tracy, and Eli, which was really sweet. So yeah, go Glenn, you did what you set out to do. So Angela and Michelle, Krista, Annalise, Marie, Alex, Fiona, Lissy, Nan, Sassy Beaver, Jimmy, Jimtins, and I never say that right, 87, Lainey, Megan, Ali, James May, Wet T-shirt competition, Mary, Jess, and Jessie Y, and Jane. Thank you for being new members. Remember, if you are a member of Patreon, you get to come to my coffee morning where you get to ask your questions. You get to ask questions on the Patreon only Q&A. If you're a manifesting member, you get daily manifesting prompts. There's a whole lot that goes on in Patreon. We are on the chats. I made sure that I gave everyone an update on Saturday morning, my Saturday morning, which was Friday afternoon, your time in the US, that I saw Iran being attacked within the next 24 hours. And then when the attack happened, I went on and sat with people on live as well. So I am always there. Wasn't much help, I must admit, when I did go on Saturday afternoon because I was so angry. I kept calling everyone not members, but those involved in this the C word. I was angry. I let some of that anger out, and other people had the opportunity to let their anger out. We're going to talk about that next. So he did it. He bombed Iran along with Netanyahu. This has been on the cards for quite a while. I have been talking about it for quite a while. Do I think it's leading to World War III? No, I don't. Do I think we're already in a version of World War III? Yes. I have spoken about this many, many times, that my belief is that World War III is directly, more directly about hacking. And that's what I'm going to come on to. It's going to be more of a cyber war than it is going to be a bomb war. Okay. I know that this is really scary and I absolutely totally understand. Do I think it's going to be over by the end of April? Yes, I do. Do I think they're involving far too many countries? Yes, I do. And I think that how I felt about it is that Trump was caught between a rock and a hard place. Netanyahu was putting pressure on him to do it, and has information or blackmail material on Trump. And Iran was saying, well, if you do, we're going to release other information. Now, I wouldn't be surprised that if Iran had information about I'm not in the US, about the election in 2024 that could be released. There is something that Iran has on Trump that will definitely be released over the coming days. And he has been held between Netanyahu blackmailing him and Iran blackmailing him. And I said months ago that Trump was the most vulnerable of presidents ever because there is so much blackmail material on him. You're going to have to breathe deeply because, as I said last year, for this time, it's going to feel like we're about to enter a massive war, and then it will stop. I don't think it's going to extend. I do think they're going to call people up in the US. I'm not going to lie. And I have been on my Patreon and given a heads up that I believe there will be a number of terrorist attacks in the United States of America. Please don't come on here and ask me exactly where. I'm more drawn towards the East Coast. And I'd say stay away from major infrastructure for the next couple of weeks if you can. I know that's not always possible. Don't put your life on hold. Be aware of what is going on around you. And if people are running in one direction, you run in that direction. So it's going to be difficult and spicy over the next couple of weeks, probably into mid-April. But I think that it will be all over bar the shouting as we get to the end of April. As for Trump, he's not doing well. I think we've got weeks before he has a major health incident. Whether they cover that up or not, I don't know. But that is what I have been given. I think we're also going to see some news come out of Israel that they have been hit a lot more than they're letting the Western world know. I think that Netanyahu is probably going to be challenged. He needed this really badly because he's got an election coming up. And he's in trouble. I think that he's in trouble internationally. We will see international courts start to make statements as we get through to the end of this week about what has happened. And I think that we're going to see a major news announcement from the White House by the middle of March. And that is where I'm going to leave predictions and talking about the Middle East. The United States had to go through this. They actually 100% had to go through this. The complacency, the apathy, someone else vote, I don't need to be involved. Anyone that turns around and says, well, I just register I write whatever I want on my voting slip. They're just as bad as voting for the wrong person, to be fair. You're not going to change the system by ignoring the system. And people need to start stepping up. We are going to hear whispers of an underground party, collective workshop, working group that are working on how to take the United States forward in a good way. I know a lot of people ask individual questions. And I want you to bookmark this episode because I think it's an important episode for when people keep asking, is this person going to get their comeuppance? Is this person going to get their comeuppance? They're all going to get it, but nothing is going to happen until the administration changes. Pam Bondi isn't going to charge anyone, is she? The administration needs to change and then we will see charges. We'll see people run like rats off a burning ship to countries afar so that they avoid prosecution, but nothing is going to happen until the administration is changed. I am not going to answer any questions about the midterms because people need to vote and they need to step up and do their bit. I am never going to make a prediction about an election again. I can say what I'm getting or being given about certain people in the political field, but I am not making a prediction about elections again, who's going to win and who's not going to win, etc. Because obviously there was mass interference in 2024, but that didn't stop people giving me death threats. So it's never going to happen again. So please stop asking me about midterm elections and just vote. Do what you need to do. Okay, and we are going to end today on a meditation that's going to help bring you back to center when you are feeling as if you need it. Before we finish, I want to bring you back to yourself. Because when the world feels loud, when collective energy feels chaotic, your job is not to carry the chaos. Your job is to center. If you can, sit comfortably now. Place your feet flat on the floor or allow your body to feel supported. Close your eyes gently. Take a slow breath in through your nose and release slowly through your mouth. And again. Breathing in and letting go. Allow your shoulders to soften. Allow your jaw to unclench. You do not need to solve global instability. You do not need to solve politics. You do not need to solve the future. You only need to return to your center. Imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet into the earth beneath you. Deep, steady, grounded. With every exhale, let fear drain downward. Let the noise drain downward. Let other people's opinions drain downward. You are not responsible for the collective storm. You are responsible for your alignment within it. Now bring your awareness to the center of your chest. Imagine a steady light there. Calm, unmoving, unaffected by headlines. This is the part of you that always knows. This is the part of you that felt the tickle first. Take a breath and silently ask, what has been trying to get my attention? Don't force the answer. Just notice what arises. A feeling, a word, a memory, a sensation, and stop. Trust that. Now imagine calling your energy back to yourself from social media, from fear, from collective tension, from the future. Breathing in your own steadiness. Breathing out borrowed anxiety. You are allowed to move gently. You are allowed to listen early. You are allowed to choose alignment before disruption. Take one final deep breath. And when you are ready, open your eyes. The tickle is mercy, the push is guidance, and the bang is interruption. Listen early, and life rarely needs to shout. Thank you for being here with me today. Stay connected to spirit, and most importantly to yourself. This has been Beyond This.